What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome on into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about the New York Jets, New York Giants joint practice day 2 that went down today. Quick disclaimer here: it did not go good for the New York Jets, but we'll dive into it all here in a second. But some concerning injury news here. Sauce Gardner was not out there today, and he is dealing with some calf soreness. Aaron Glenn did say they are still evaluating where he's at. So if I was running the Jets, and I'm assuming this is the path they're going to take, put him on ice until week 1. These calf soreness injuries are definitely a tricky slope because it could end up being Achilles, and then obviously that could end the season. So, just put him on ice. He's good enough football player where he doesn't, obviously need the practice reps like some of these other guys, but no concern that he won't be out there for week 1. But Sauce Gardner injury, definitely not good, but not the end of the world right now. Just some calf soreness. But let me ask you guys this. The New York Giants and the New York Jets. I think they are on the same tier of NFL team, and I think both fan bases would probably say, hey, the Giants are going to be, or if you're a Giants fan, you're going to say the Giants will be better, and if you're a Jets fan, you're going to probably be saying the Jets will be better. So let me ask you guys this. Who will have the better record in 2025? If you're rolling with the Giants, give me an NYG, or if you're rolling with the New York Jets, give me an NYJ down below. All right, so overall, it was not a good day for the Jets on both sides of the field. Their defense did have a couple of good team periods, which was a positive sign, but the Giants clearly got the better of the Jets during day 2, and it was mainly the defensive line for the Giants just completely wrecking havoc. But we also had some entertainment. There was a fight at practice. This was coming after a couple of Tyrone Tracy runs. Guys just started shoving each other, and we knew this was going to happen eventually. Both New York teams, they're probably sick and tired of each other from the day before. Obviously, tempers were high, and it ended up resulting in a fight at practice. But who is the fight involving? Connor Hughes tweeting this out, saying a couple of big Tyrone Tracy runs, and a fight breaks out between the Giants and the Jets. Runyon, Will McDonald, Stiggers all involved. Also, Greg Van Roten of the Giants chipping too. It's getting testy. Now, I cannot wait for the preseason game Saturday night. Maybe we'll get a couple of, after the play shoves from each side, but I'm sure it's hot out there. I'm sure these guys are just sick and tired of seeing each other. They're hitting, they're getting after it, but fights at practice, they're always more entertaining for the fans. I'm sure the coaches aren't the biggest fans of these fights, though, at the end of the day. But the bad news here, up front, the Jets' offensive line definitely struggled versus the Giants' front. Now, if the Jets were going against a different team, maybe a team that didn't have an elite defensive line like the Giants have, yeah, I'd probably be a little concerned. But also, this is Olu Fashanu in year 2. Armand Membu's rookie year. You still have a very young interior of your offensive line. And I will say this up front. I think the Giants will have the best defensive line when it's all said and done at the end of this upcoming season. I think Abdul Carter, he might be better than Micah Parsons. This dude looks unreal. He's got crazy bend. He might be the best athlete in the NFL from day 1. This guy's ridiculous. You also pair that up with Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns. You still got Kayvon Thibodeau out there. Like, the Giants' defensive line is the toughest test. But I also love that the Jets, are going through this. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing long term. Yes, today it sucks. These guys are probably going to go out there after practice and, be pissed off. But that feeling should result in better results during the season. This is a great litmus test for this group. We all have high expectations for this offensive line. So even though they got their ass kicked today, I think this could pay some positive dividends down the line for this Jets offense. But Nick Ferrier, who was at practice today, tweeting out the Jets offensive line getting mauled this drill. Justin Fields doesn't have time to get the ball out, which is also concerning because dual threat quarterback. Normally they can buy a couple of extra seconds in the pocket, but still definitely not a good sign. But again, you're going against Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. This would be the toughest test the Jets face probably the entire season. Maybe the Steelers would disagree with that week 1, but so it's a great setup and just a great test heading into that game versus Steelers opening week. But Rich Cimini also tweeting this out. Fields led the offense in plus territory, a 30-yard run by Braylon Allen, and a long run by Fields on a design play. But he did say, other than that, not much doing for the Jets offense. Now, this Braylon Allen run, I will give the offensive line credit there. They had a massive gap. He was not touched for the first 20 yards, and we actually saw some explosiveness from Braylon Allen. If that was a real game, that could have been a 99-yard touchdown with how perfectly blocked it was. But it ended up being a 30-yard TD. And also Fields had a nice run where also the offensive line had some good blocks there as well. But let me ask you guys this. Are you or what's your confidence level in the Jets offensive line? Scale it for me 1 to 10 down below in the comment section. I'm probably sitting at, a 7.5 right now. I still have full confidence this group being a solid unit this year. This is just a tough test. The Giants, hate give them credit, but they do probably have the best defensive line in the NFL. They got a generational player in Abdul and Brian Burns, probably the most slept on edge in the league. But you guys be honest with me. Confidence level in the Jets offensive line, scale it 1 to 10. All right, let's get some positivity here on today's show. Too much negativity. Arian Smith, he had an unreal catch. Nick Ferrier tweeting this out. Arian Smith with a highlight reel Moss of the Giants defender deep. Just out jumped him to hang on to the ball. He's flashing again. Very good play. And also other beat reporters are saying he has been the only receiver outside of Garrett Wilson consistently making plays. I could see Arian Smith. Maybe it won't be, in September, in October, but maybe we'll get to a point this season where he truly is the wide receiver too. And I could see this being a situation where the Jets' 3-man wide receiver unit, Garrett Wilson, Arian Smith, Tyler Johnson, by the end of the season, obviously they're going more run heavy. Josh Reynolds will be in there as well. But great sign there. Arian Smith making a big time play today at joint practices. But, more here on the Jets offense on 11-on-11 series. Justin Fields' run on 11-on-11. He had a sack. Short pass to Braylon Allen, and then a sack again. So even more evidence of this Giants defensive line getting better of the Jets offensive line today. But some more good news here. Rich Cimini tweeting out, Nick Folk is on fire today. Goes 5 for 5, including a make from 55 yards. Now, I think it's a guarantee he'll be the kicker for the Jets. Harrison Mevis, cool story. The thicker kicker, fantastic nickname, but they gave Nick Folk almost $3 million. I feel bad for Mevis, but he'll probably end up getting cut on roster cutdown day, and Nick Folk will be the starting kicker for the Jets. But they also had a move the ball period where each team gets the ball in their own territory, and they just have to move the ball up the field. Now, it started off with a nice completion. Justin Fields found Tyler Johnson, but then it was a penalty on the offense. We think it was a false start, and then that resulted in a Brian Burns sack the following play. But then Fields also had a completion to Brandon Smith, which I thought it was interesting that he was getting first-team reps out there. And then also Jeremy Ruckert had another catch after that for about 6 yards. Then Fields had an incomplete pass to Garrett Wilson. Then he also missed Garrett Wilson again near the sideline on a third down. So in the move the ball period, the Jets didn't exactly move the football. And overall, the offense was struggling today. And this is going to be a process. You have a whole new system here. You have a whole new quarterback. You have a whole new group of wide receivers. You are going to go through these moments in the, the offseason and during practices where you do have days where you struggle. But this is not the end of the world. It's practice for a reason. Hopefully you work all this stuff out. You can go watch the film and you would just be better. Because listen, if it was all positive reports coming out of there and it was only good things coming in from the beat reporters, I think there's just not really too much to work on. But I'm sure they're going to get back in the lab and they'll sure this thing out. So I'm not really too concerned just yet, but definitely a tough day for the Jets offense going against the Giants defense. But we'll talk about what Breece Hall had to say here in a second. Pretty interesting quote from him. But if you guys want to get some new New York Jets merchandise in your life, we got a sweet deal going on right now at chatsports.com/Jets hoodies. Hit that link in the comment section and description of today's show. They're on sale right now. Take advantage before it's too late. This is the link, chatsports.com/Jets hoodies. All right, so Breece Hall after practice today was talking about his contract because, James Cook ended up getting an extension, and also Williams of the Los Angeles Rams ended up getting an extension as well. And a reporter asked him, how are you feeling about it? And he said this, they've done more than me. They've been in better situations. I feel like I'm just as talented as anyone, but those two guys deserve their payday and got what they deserve. And I will give Breece Hall credit because this is when ego could start to creep in where he could have got up there and said, hey, I'm just as good as those guys. I deserve to get paid too. But he's realizing I wasn't in a solid situation over the past couple of years. But he still has the talent to hopefully have a bounce back season. But I think it's also on the table that Breece Hall, if he doesn't have a good year, he probably won't be with the Jets the following season. I think they would just lean into Isaiah Davis, lean into Braylon Allen, but also on the other side of the equation, if he has a monster year and he looks fantastic and this offensive line's moving and the whole offense is built, through the run game and Breece Hall plays a good part, he will get a payday probably around the same contract that James Cook just signed of 4 years, $48 million. But I do like the self-awareness from Breece Hall instead of him getting up there and saying, oh, I deserve to get paid. Could have caused some commotion, but give credit to Breece here for showing some self-awareness. But I'll ask you guys this. Next season, will Breece Hall be a Jet? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Curious to see what you guys got to say. I would still be saying yes right now. We'll see how that season plays out for the Jets offense. Now, also hit that subscribe button if you guys have not already. I appreciate everybody. We just crossed over 8,000 subs here on YouTube, so shout out to all the real ones. But we will see you guys next time. As always, go Jets.